Okay, so in today's video, we're going to do a closer look at the Headrush Flex Prime to see how this super powerful, super compact, all-in-one flight rig / portable studio solution stacks up compared to the Headrush Core and the flagship Prime. So what we're going to do, quick run through the features of this powerful little unit, as well as check out some of the stock sounds, gig-ready sounds that are in the unit. And then most importantly, we're going to have a chat about the live capabilities and functionalities of the more stripped down pedal board that we've got in front of us. So let's jump into it. Okay, so jumping in and having a look at what we've got on the unit, the awesome thing about the Headrush Flex Prime is even though the size is minuscule compared to the larger Core and or flagship Prime, you still get the same processing power in this small compact size, which is pretty much compact enough to throw in your carry-on as a flight rig. If we move forward to the other unit, what we get is the same intuitive workflow that's found on the other units with the touchscreen that you can see here. We've got 3-foot switches, exceptional build quality on our expression pedal. The other thing we should have a look at is the ins and outs on the unit. So we've got guitar in, expression pedal in, effects send and return. We've also got a stereo out, and then on top of that we've got a headphone out, an auxiliary in, MIDI in and out, and a USB connector, which allows the unit to double as a sound card, so you can record directly into your computer. So check out some more features. If we jump in on the global settings, we've got access to the Headrush Cloud. We've got the Headrush Practice Tool, which is a super cool feature. And if we pop out of that, we've got access to the Universal Looper, which Headrush are renowned for via the 2nd foot switch there. If you want to check out a tutorial specifically on the looper, I've done one recently. I'm going to drop the link for that in the description below if you want to find out more info there. Okay, let's have a chat about the cloning capabilities of the Flex Prime. So just like the Core and the Prime, you can clone your favorite amp and distortion pedals directly to the unit. The difference with the Flex Prime is you're not able to use the unit to connect your amp or your pedals to. You need to do a workaround via using your DAW to capture your clone or profile and then load it via the software editor or web editor app, which Headrush have put out now, which you can connect to a tablet or laptop, which improves the workflow of the smaller 5-inch touchscreen. So a lot of people would argue that's actually a better way to get a more accurate and better quality clone. So whilst you cannot do it directly with the unit, you can still do it via using your DAW. All right, so let's jump in, check out some playing. All right, first amp we're checking out today is this Blackface Fender copy. So 3, 4, and... Cool, all right, let's check out another classic sound. So let's grab a little Plexi Marshall vibe here, which I was listening to before. So 3, 4, and... If you wind your volume off, really responsive here, so you can hear that, so... Volume back on. Cool, let's jump forward and check out some even harder, heavier push sounds here. Here's a rectifier copy. 3, 4. Another cool sound. Some really nice ambient textures here. So let's check out how this sounds. So let's get into how well this unit performs from a live perspective. So we go in, we've got the first foot switch brings up our menu. So we've got stomp, rig, and hybrid. So we're going to investigate stomp mode here. So on scene 1, just a straight up and down, clean tone there. If we push that foot switch there, I've just put a bit of modulation on that. So that could be clean and modulation. You can switch between there on your first foot switch. On the second foot switch, we go in, and then I've got a bit of an overdriven sound here. So there, and then I've set up just a bit of a modulation sound on that crunchy overdrive sound there. And then on our third one, brace ourselves, you can set up like a high gain or a heavy sort of sound. So and then on the back of that, I've just put a bit of delay on that one. So all right, if we pop back in on the unit, let's check out rig mode. So we hold down first button to bring up our menu, push rig, and then you can see there, you've got 1, 2, 3, and on the touchscreen here, you can see we've got the 3 rigs, which we can just switch between, and you can set them up side by side. Now the problem is, if you want to change rigs, you've got a couple of options to go about it. If you want to go beyond these 3 rigs, you can either pull down the touchscreen and navigate, click on that one, and then you've got the rigs you can navigate from that point in your rig list. Or the other option, you can go back to menu, hold it down, go to hybrid, and then you can switch to however many to find the rig, and then you can switch back to rigs and then just have your 3 rigs set up that way. Now let's get into the last option. As you just saw, hold down the first one. This brings up hybrid. So with this, you could set your first switch up in hybrid mode. So you've got an option which you can switch between a scene. So you could have that so it switches between 2 sounds, and then foot switch 2 and foot switch 3, you're just switching between your rigs there. So you'd have to go about, you'd have to go about setting that up if you were to use it in a set list mode, where you would structure your songs, particularly if you're doing the same show night after night, just put them side by side. I am going to do a tutorial on this one coming out soon, so keep in touch, make sure you subscribe and keep an eye out for that, which will show you how you can set it up. So it's just with one button, you can just go bang, 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 changing through. So that's a really simple solution if you want to do a bit of work on the front end of your set. And then lastly, from a live perspective, and probably the most complicated way, is you could use MIDI. So if you're running, say, an Ableton session or a Pro Tools session where you're using loops or backing track or any sort of external backing track playing device, you could easily MIDI sync it up if you wanted to go down that route where it would just automatically do your switching. Again, that's probably too complex for what I would personally want to do with it. Or you might have a friend who's or a tech who can help you get that well established. But that's just an option if you wanted to explore that one further. Now, in terms of studio usage, so if you had all your sounds dialed in, and say you were using the Flex Prime in tandem with you owned a larger unit such as the Core or the flagship Prime in your studio space at home, and you had all your sounds loaded in, you could easily use it on the studio, particularly if you've got it up on a desk for people like me who like to edit using your hands and turning dials really quickly. Or you could even have the web editor app on the touchscreen there, which would make it really easy to do on the fly edits in the studio. So definitely you could do it. In terms of rehearsal, if you're doing, like, say, getting ready to go on a tour or something like this would not be the ideal piece of kit I would take to a large scale rehearsal. You probably want something with more foot switches that you can just pull different sounds and experiment with different effect combinations on the fly. And particularly if you're looking to improvise on your live set using where you get an idea for something you want to do on a part and you want to be able to pull in a different sound, then whilst it's not impossible, it gets far more difficult with the limited amount of foot switches and size of the unit. But that's the trade-off when we're talking gear, particularly with portability, is this is an incredibly powerful unit. And I'm very impressed. I've used it in my YouTube studio here. I have used it on certain gigs, albeit simple switching ones, and it was very easy, very compact. And I just love that, where you've just got, it just fits in a backpack, it fits in the case. it's super simple to get around. But yeah, there is that trade-off with if you want more switching options, particularly if you're going into a studio setting or a rehearsal setting where you want to experiment and try more, that's just something you need to keep in mind. But again, I think this is a perfect complement to have as part of your kit, particularly if you've got a larger unit and then a more portable unit. I'd 100% use something like this, and particularly this unit, in terms of if I was traveling, making content, or if you're touring, you could use it as a backup for, say, a large unit just in case something went down. Super easy to carry around and super easy to use, particularly backstage or if you're practicing in hotels and whatnot. But if you've got any questions and you would like to know more information or any info you'd like to find out about the Flex Prime, which might help you make a better decision on what type of gear you're looking at, hit me up in the comments below. I'm more than happy to help out there. So any other questions, you can get in touch with me there. If you want to check out my online courses and material, all those links will be in the description below. That helps me to support the channel and allows me to pump out more content like these videos. On top of that, my name is Ryan Wyatt. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to catch up with you all in the next video.